Hello everybody, this is Eric, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a new line of paints that I've just heard of called Ultracryl that apparently it has super high pigmentation, and that's basically the number one thing I look for in a miniature paint nowadays is just how pigmented is it. Can I cover in like one or two coats tops just to save time, because I've tried GW paint, I've tried Pro Acryl, I've tried AK 3rd Gen, and while I think those are really nice paints, and I'm glad I have them, and I'm something of a paint collector, they're still just not quite like a god tier level paint that just does what you want it to do in one coat and would just enable just a really efficient and fast workflow. And from what I'm hearing about this Ultra Acryl, it may be some of the most pigmented paint for miniatures to be released so far based on what I'm hearing. But yeah, this is their website. It's produced by a company called 1001. I think it's in Germany. And check out this video on Twitter of yellow over black with just one coat. That's crazy, because if you've ever used yellow miniature paint over black, you know it's a nightmare. It'll take like 9 coats normally, but I feel like with this it would just take like 2, maybe 3 coats, and then you're good, which would be amazing. Yeah, just look at that. It's incredible. And also, this is the Midwinter Minis video that I first heard of it. And just look at the coverage. Like, if I could just have a paint line where basically every color covered in one coat, that would be revolutionary for me. That would completely change my whole world. Well, as far as minis are concerned, but yeah, that would be incredible, and this is making me very excited. Yeah, this would be great if it is true. So I am really excited about this, because here's some minis I painted fairly recently, and yeah, well, this wasn't too bad, and I didn't really go full bore on going crazy with the amount of time I spent on it. It's just, I feel like every part of it took too long to paint. It's like these kind of tan robes over a black undercoat took like 4 or 5 coats, and the red armor took 3 coats or more, and the skin took 3 coats, and the bone took 3 coats, and this was with the AK 3rd Gen. And yeah, just if it only took like 1 or 2 coats, it would possibly like half the time it took to paint these, because I feel like a lot of the time I spend painting is just multiple thin coats, and we all love Duncan Rhodes, but I'm kind of tired of like 3 or 4 thin coats to paint something. And probably the worst example is when I painted these high elves, and these models are just incredibly intricate, and the white is just a nightmare to paint over black, so I primed it white, but then that makes everything else harder to paint because it's just like white and silver, and so silver usually looks better over a black undercoat, so I figured it'd be easier to paint black over white, so the white was really easy to paint over a white undercoat, but then I have to paint everything else manually with black. And then still, just like the blue took like 2 or 3 coats, the skin took like 3 or 4 coats, the hair took like 3 or 4 coats, the wood took like 4 thin coats, the kind of the aqua color took like 3 or 4 coats, thin coats, and it adds up, and these guys are just insane to paint, just crazy amount of detail. Just there's like 12 different materials, and there's all these really precise edges that you have to very carefully pick out, and be careful not to get any paint on the white. Like the dragon around the shield, I had to go around every single edge by hand to and carefully make sure that I got the edge and didn't get any like red paint on the white, because that would be really hard to fix. And I'm sure I made a few mistakes, but yeah, it's crazy. And just this is amplified. The difficulty of this is amplified a lot by the fact that it takes like sometimes 3 or 4 coats to get any good coverage. So you have to like go over these really delicate edges multiple times to get good coverage. And it's like if it only took 1 or 2 coats, that would be a game changer. And I know people might be thinking, well, why don't you just use a zenithal undercoat, like white over black? And yeah, you can do that, but you know, it doesn't change the fact that a lot of colors just are hard to paint. And you know, even over a white, like I noticed like a really dark color often has a hard time covering over a white undercoat. It takes like 3 or 4 coats. And I think right now just the best method for being efficient at painting is just having the right base coat or undercoat with primer or an airbrush. And so if something's white, then you undercoat it or prime it white. If something's black, you undercoat it black, or something's dark, you undercoat it black. Something's kind of mid-tone, you use gray. But still, even then, you still have all these multiple thin coats, 4 coats here, 4 coats there, and it adds up so much. And I don't want to spend my life reapplying the same color like 4 or 5 times. It's getting crazy, and these models are just so insanely intricate and have so many details that if you could just cover it in like 1 coat, that would be a complete and total game changer. So that's why I'm really excited for these Ultracryl paints, and hopefully they live up to the hype. And I know I'm certainly interested in this Kickstarter. The Kickstarter goes live on the 15th of May. So if anyone's interested, then maybe consider checking out this website. I'm not sponsored in any way. I just want paint that has good coverage. So smash that like button if you like good paint coverage and don't want to spend your life applying like 4 or 5 thin coats over a black undercoat. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think this is exciting, or do you think this isn't going to be as good as they say it is? Or do you like another paint line that I'm not talking about? Leave your comments below. If you like my work, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.